Good morning and sliding and afternoon. Nana here, also known as Judy Allen in San Antonio, Texas. And today we're making an alternative. It's always about making choices, right? It's always a decision. What do we do? To use the watercolor pencils? Do we want to use the ink pad? Do we want to use the Stampin Blends? Etc. Right? So today we'll be covering a little bit of that as we create our alternative. And I hope you appreciated that we posted it in advance so you knew what we were making. But there's just a little stuff that we had to go in there, tips and tricks we have to do to make it happen, right? So let's go down the hands and let's do this. Easter's just around the corner. I'm working on my Easter list. I already got some of these I've already pulled out for you. So, but I want to show you this. This is what the kit came as, right? So we've already made these. And I'm inspired today with this alternative right here. Now mine's not going to look like it, this one right here. But it's going to be similar because I took that idea and concept and used it to make what I made today, right? Because, I've already been doing cards for kids in the hospital. So I have some pieces like this that is left over, and a lot of them. And I want to be sure to use them. In this particular one that we're doing today, we're going to be using, this is a 4x4. That looks a little big. We might have to make that down to a 3x3. I thought this was a 3x3, but it's not. It's a 4x4. All right, so we're gonna have to take this down to a 3x3. So let's do that. This would be great for the inside of the card, but it's not gonna work for what we're doing the outside. Okay, so all I'm gonna do is take my paper trimmer here, come down I could do 3.5 inches maybe. Let's see how that looks. I'm pretty sure that when I did the original one, I did 3x3. So what happens is, right, I've been busy creating and getting ready to mail out cards for kids in the hospital. So I've been collecting cards from not only myself, but others have helped do and everything else, so we can mail them out tomorrow. Okay, let's see how this is going to look. So this, just to give you a setup. So we're going to use some petal pink cardstock. And this is nothing more than we've taken the card base and cut it in half. All right. That's how we get this piece right here. Just cut it in half, and I made sure that it was just a little bit. I sized it down to a 4x5 1/4. All right. So this is how this is going to look, and we're going to go ahead and get this down. So we can start at least shaping it up for you, so you see where we're going, and then we'll see if that 3.5 is going to fit, or we're going to have to go to a 3x3. All right. I'm pretty positive because so see, I've already packed up some of my stuff in an envelope to ready to ship because I've got a couple of other people sending me some more cards. So we'll put it all in a ship together. So I've already tucked some of my stuff away, and not only that, I've already got my Easter list out, so I'm mostly making Easter cards to send out and get out in the mail, and got Easter packages to get out too, right? So just got a lot going on, and that's what what you get into, right? So this is right here. Now, this is the frame. So I had a lot of these left over from making cards for kids in the hospital. Let me punch this out right here. And we're just going to put this on here with some glue dots, all right? So we'll get the framework down. We're just doing the corners, all right? Because we're going to be tucking stuff in between here. But at least get you the framework of what we're going to be working with. Okay? And then we'll go from there. And we'll start doing some color, so you can see the choices between pencils, Stampin Blends, and the actual stamping pad itself. Now the stamping pad, I can already tell you, we're going to use it with a blending brush, okay? So you could do a sponge, but the sponge is going to give you a different look than a blending brush. All right, I think I used a sponge last week, but I don't hold my feet to the fire on that. Okay, so this is just going to give me a nice little framework right here. Okay. All right, so let's see how this 3.5 and 3.5 is going to look. So the main thing is I want to be able to tuck it in here and still have a little bit around here to show what I want to do. Okay, so that looks just a little bit heavier. All right, so I may just take it down at least 1/4 of an inch because I really wanted the checker to show a little bit more. So that's all you do. So the thing is if something is not the correct size and you're not sure, so I started with a see, I started with a 4 by 4 and I sized it down to 3.5 by 3.5. So let's just take it down by 1/4 of an inch, right? Because the thing is, I don't want to have to go hunt for another piece of paper. So it's easier just to size down. When you're sizing this is the way you want to just take it down by 1/4 of an inch. You know, sometimes once I get it down that, I just need a smidgen more, then I'll just do another 1/8 of an inch, all right? So the thing is, it's just try it out and see, you know, it's no big deal. I'd rather start off big and size down than to have it sized too small and now I got to start over, right? Okay, so this is where I want to go. This will be perfect because see, you're going to still get enough of this around here and I can still tuck this in the greenery, which I wanted to do. That's how I got the look that I got, all right? So let's first start with we're going to do some with the blending brush, okay? And the reason for that is there's really not a lot of options here. If you're going to sit up there, I need some white paper though, so I'm just going to grab some white paper here. So if you're going to do a background or something like we're going to do here, you're going to have to use a blending brush or a sponge. Now the thing is, the sponge isn't going to give you the look that we want today. I really sort of want a soft look, and that is what I'm going to get with the blending brush. So let me set this aside here because this is all the tools we're going toward. I already colored the bunny's ears here, so we don't have to worry about that. I could have done that. We'll talk about that in a minute, but let's at least get the blending brush going here so we can get our background. So you're going to use a blending brush. That's how we get that nice blue background that you saw before. So just to see what it looks like, it's going to be sort of light, but you want to go in a circular motion. And it's going to darken it as much as you want as you go along. And this dries really quick, so you don't have to worry about that. So I'm going to just do what I did just then. I'm just going to come and I'm just going to lightly give it some background. So in this particular case, I just wanted the blue background, just sort of like we saw in the example that I showed you that I was inspired by. So it's just a matter of how blue do you want your background, right? So it looked like the first time I did this, I used Balmy Blue here. I'm not sure if I used Balmy Blue there or not. I might have used Pool Party. But it doesn't matter, right? It's just going to get it to the shade you want it. So just take your time. If you sit there and just do a big old blob like that, well, you're going to have to deal with that, all right? So it's just a matter of taking it from the side, just adding it gradually. Because otherwise, guess what? If you do it too much, or if I did accidentally just did a big blob of blue in the middle, I would just flip this over and start over again, right? So that's just how I do it. There's opportunity for creativity. Okay, so let me finish this so you can see how it looks and see where we're going and see what you think, right? It's all about choices. It's all about choices. So when I go behind here, this is what this is going to look like. So that's enough blue for me. I could put more blue if I wanted to, but I think it's really going to pick up just like right here. I just want to give it some nice, subtle background so you can get that as dark as you want or as light. All it takes to clean the brush here is you just go rinse it out with water and it is a done deal. Okay, so got this here. And I'm going to go ahead and put this down just as is. All right, and what we're going to put up on dimensionals is going to be like the rabbit, the chicken, and so forth. I'm just going to leave this here for a moment because I don't think I should have any issues with coloring, but you know, it's Friday and I've got spring breaks right around the corner. I've got special peeps coming over and just a lot of things getting ready for that spring break and Easter, okay? So I've already colored these, but I want to show you, okay? These are all done just a little differently, okay? So let's start with, the question is always about pencils. If you don't feel you can control your color, I mean, I start out with pencils. And pencils are a great way to go. I always liked them because I could control my color a lot easier, right? And this one's going to be done with pencils here, and you can see. And I'm going to use a blender pen. I already did some, but I had cut them out just to show you so you can see. Okay? So with the blender pen, I can sit there, and I'm just going to take this. And I just sort of smooth the edges, but it gives the color, right? It gives as smooth as is out from the pencil look to a smoother, almost like a painted look, right? So, you could do this a lighter color or a dark color. This one here I used I use Daffodil Delight, and that's actually light. So you can see the difference here. This one here I actually did with a lighter color, Lemon Lolly. So that just gives you a show of ideas. Now, the thing is, I can also add to this, right? So it doesn't matter if you use pencils or not. I can take a pencil and I can come and add some brown to this if I want, right? I'm sorry, that's crushed curry. I thought it was brown, but it's sort of going to look like it. Hold on just a minute, and you're going to see. So crushed curry on this yellow actually almost looks like a brown. It'll be very similar to pecan pie, and I'm going to do pecan pie, and you can see if I got pecan pie with me. I do. So just to show you can see the differences in color. You're not going to see a lot here because the two of them being put on a yellow background is not going to make it look like the other, right? So when I go and use the same blender pen here, okay, so I'm just going to sort of blend this a little bit. And this, the only thing about the blender pen is you can sit there and blend colors together, right? So it looks more like a more smooth effect. So it's going to be a little bit different. Okay, so you can see the colors are just a little bit different, not a lot. So this goes back to what we talked about in previous times, is about putting a color on a color. It may not look the same. And I'll show you the difference here. If I come and give you pecan pie, which I just put over that yellow, and this is crushed curry. All right, so when you do this, your coloring is going to be different what it looks like, right? You just have to clean your brush off. So that definitely looks different than what we see right here, right? So, but there is one thing you can do with pencils that makes that a lot easier, okay? So let me go ahead and just show you then what we look like if we go and we use the Stampin' Blend pens. Let me use, this one's a Lemon Lolly, right? Or is this Daffodil Delight? No, that's Daffodil Delight. It's not really the color I wanted to use. Let's see here. Alright, so that's Daffodil Delight in pencil. Let's see what it looks like here. Alright, so that's one of the things we're going to get into here. Let me do the other end for you so you can see it's just the same. Alright, so that is Daffodil Delight with a Stampin' Blend. It's the Stampin' Blend here pen, and this one here, I'll show you the difference here too. Definitely different, right? Definitely different. So that's the other thing. Try it out and see what you want. Depends what color shade of yellow you're going to want, right? I know this one's Lemon Lolly here. I didn't have a Lemon Lolly pencil to bring with me. Let's see if I got one here. No, they're both the Daffodil Delight and the other one. So if I wanted to use this, so this was actually done with a blender pen. Now, I could do, let me just show you the feet. The feet I could do, and let me just show you the difference here too. The feet, and so this is actually pumpkin pie. This is our closest orange to orange, right? So let me show you this one here. Okay, that's what it's going to look like right here. Let me get the color off that too. Alright, it's always good to have some white paper, right? Now, if I go and do this one here, this is actually a Stampin Write. Okay. Alright, so you see what it's going to look like in the Stampin' Write. Now, the one thing about Stampin' Write and all, right, I can get it directly right there in the line, especially in tiny places. And I can also write with these. So if I wanted to write my name, okay, so that's the nice thing about these. And they do have two different tips. So it just depends on what you want to control. So for me, to control the little space and all that we're working with is much easier than this. With this here, using the Stampin' Write. Now here it is. I've got, again, a Stampin' Write. And for me, I wanted to put an eye on here. So it's easier to put a tiny eye right here. Okay. Versus using a pencil or anything else, because you're just not going to get the fine tip of that, right? So, and then the thing is some of these Stampin' Blends do not have in different colors. We have some colors that aren't in Stampin Blends, so you would have to use a Stampin Write instead. So those are just things to keep in mind, consider, because you're going to get a different look and feel, and even a different color in this particular place, right? You have to keep in mind, this is a Stampin Blend, and this is the pencil that we actually use the blending tool on it. So those are the things you need to check out as well too. Again, if you're going to do a lot of distance and all, and you want it, this makes it easier to cover a lot of distance with a finer tip up here. But I just wanted to show you, because this one here was done in pencils as well too, whereas this one here was actually done with a combination of the Stampin Blends and the writing tool here as well too. As you can see, it's hard for me to go in with this here and blend the colors. See, I can't do that with the blending tool, but I can come in here with this, and I can sit there and blend, and I can, so you can see where I take the color off. I can do that. And I could still, if this was, I hate to mess mine up here, but I could be able to, see, you can still come, so if this is done in pencils, I can still come in there and grab some color off of it. I cannot do that when I use these bigger pens like this here. Okay, once you set this in here, it's done. The only thing you can do is either go over it with a darker color, or you can lift it with this color lifter. Again, you don't have as much control as you do with pencils, but you can do it, okay? All right, so enough of that. Let's come over here and work toward finishing up our project here, because I just always want to show you some tips and tricks so you make whatever choice to do whatever you want to. I've already got these cut out, so I'm going to use the ones I've already got cut out. And we're going to go ahead and get this rabbit. So the rabbit didn't really matter. This is Petal Pink. As you can see, it matches the color here. And I just use the Stampin' Blend pens because it matched nicely with it. So I'm just going to come in here. We're going to put the rabbit down flat. And then we're going to sit up here and put the chicken up on some dimensionals here. So there's always plenty of leftover dimensionals in the kits, right? So I just want to make sure to get a little bit of the rabbit behind the green here. And we're also going to be making an archway above this here. And my little chick, like I said, we're going to put up on a dimensional. You know, it didn't really matter to me whether it was a large or small. They both will work. This case, we just went and grabbed a large one. And I'm just going to put it where it just crosses over just a little bit. So it looks like these two are good friends, right? It's all about Easter. All right, so the thing is we're going to add our arch here. So our arch was created by, and some of our flowers come from here too. But our arch is created by just taking this piece right here and taking a piece of our scissors, and I just snipped. You can snip wherever you want. I just sort of snipped to make sure I'm coming across right. It's about halfway. I could have used my cutting tool, but I didn't. I don't need to. All right, so I'm going to put this up on dimensionals. I'm going to have it arch just across right here. So it's going to look nice and Eastery. It almost makes it look like an Easter basket too, right? So there we go. All right. And we'll put this on here. So yes, if you're out there, be sure to say hi and all. At the end of the month, we always give away door prizes, right? And if you're a door prize winner and you haven't given us your address yet, we need your address to be able to mail it to you, right? There we go. All right. And let's see here. Next, the only other thing we have left here is to add some flowers. So it's very easy with this here. Just sit there and just add some flowers. I feel like I'm doing a floral arrangement. And we're just, but you know, they don't have to necessarily be attached to anything, but it just helps give some color. And we can add some Wink Castella. Doesn't matter what I'm working on creating. I always like adding a little Wink Castella, right? Just because I can. So this is nice with this flower. You can turn it any way you want to. Just makes it really easy to create your own view of what you want. So we're going to do it right here. We're just going to have this one come right about here. Alright, now it's pretty darn close to what I posted already that we were going to do. We went over a little bit, you just cut it. Alright, so the only other thing I've already stamped and we'll put up here is our tag. So we actually had two choices, and we had some bling. So this is the one I did in the original one, but I want to show you, you could, if you wanted to, just as easily put this up here. But I'm going to stick with my original. goodness knows I have enough leftover pieces, because we always have leftovers, that we can sit there and go create more, right? I think my list already is 23 Easter cards. Might be a little bit more. Just for me to send out. I got my list of people that are going to get some. If you would like an Easter card, you can definitely say that you'd like an Easter card sent to you, and I would just need to make sure I have your mailing address, and I can get that to you. All right, so there we go. We just need some bling, which are just buried under here. We'll add our bling, and then we'll add a little bit of wink of Stella. These are definitely tiny. I should use my pick tool, but I didn't. And we'll put one up here. All right. Now, wink of Stella just gives it a little shimmer, right? So I'm just going to add it to the flowers, and I add it to the rabbit's ears too, because I think it's just pretty cool. Because I can, right? Everything's all about because you can, and who you're going to create it for and give. So with the list of 23, and then I also have some other cards I've created on Adventurous Stampin'. So I don't know if I have enough or not, but the main thing is cards for kids in the hospital first. Then I'll work on packages I need to send out to my special peeps, and then I'll work on what's left over. So I have to create more cards. I'll create more cards. So there we go. Here's our alternative today. Just easy to make. Just using colors, right? We use the blending brush to use the stamp pad in the back. There's really no other color that you can do that with, way to do that. And then we set up there, and this particular one, we demonstrated how you could use the Stampin Write, the pencils, with the blending tool here, the blending pen, or the Stampin Blend. So it's all about choices and whatever your preference is and what you want to do. So each day it's different for me. I don't know about you. So I hope you enjoy this, right? Because it's all about creating, sharing, and giving. And I always enjoy having choices for either using watercolor pencils, or whether I use the Stampin Blends, or whether I use the Stampin Writes. Sometimes you don't have the choice between the Stampin Blends and the Writes, because not all colors are in Stampin Blends. So just FYI, that's a tip for you to look out for. So if you like a particular color, check it out to see what it's available in, right? So with that, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, be sure to follow us on YouTube as well as Facebook here, and also on Instagram, where we'll post our photos, and YouTube is where the videos will be posted as well too. With that, be blessed. Go out there, create, share, and give. And we'll look forward to seeing you next week with Teach Me Nana. Bye.